them all what I'm made up. Strut down the hall, won't stop till I get enough.
Okay, so today we're diving into something pretty wild. A reported security issue inside the Trump administration.
Oh, yeah. This one's a doozy.
It all revolves around a Signal group chat, believe it or not.
Signal, that encrypted messaging app.
Exactly, the one that's supposed to be super secure, right? Well, we've got a live news update from The Independent, and it's shedding light on this whole mess.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Pretty much our mission here is to figure out what exactly happened, what the possible fallout could be, and why everyone seems to have such different reactions to it.
Yeah, this thing has blown up, right? People are taking sides. It's gotten pretty intense.
Totally. And we're going to try to cut through all that noise and get to the heart of the matter.
Should be interesting.
Okay, so The Independent is reporting that a bunch of top Trump administration officials were using this Signal group chat to talk about some pretty sensitive stuff.
Like what kind of stuff?
We're talking about a planned military operation against Houthi positions in Yemen.
Whoa. Okay, so this is serious business.
No kidding. And here's where it gets really crazy. The Atlantic's editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg, was accidentally added to this group chat.
You're kidding, right? How does that even happen?
Apparently, it was a total mistake. The group was called Houthi PC Small Group, and somebody just slipped up.
Oof. Talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right. Goldberg said he was just sitting in a Safeway parking lot checking his phone when he realized what he'd stumbled into.
I can only imagine his face.
He must have done a double take for sure. Now, the reactions to this whole thing have been all over the place. President Trump came out in support of Mike Waltz, who's his national security advisor, saying that Waltz has learned his lesson.
So it sounds like they're trying to brush it under the rug a bit.
Maybe. Saying he's learned his lesson kind of implies that it's all been dealt with internally, right?
Yeah, it could be a way of signaling that they consider the matter closed.
But then you've got Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who had a very different reaction.
Oh, what did he say?
He basically went straight after Jeffrey Goldberg, calling him a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist.
Wow. Okay, so he's playing offense, not defense.
Totally. It seems like he's trying to shift the focus away from the security lapse and onto the reporter who exposed it.
Classic deflection tactic.
And then there's Hillary Clinton, who weighed in with a, "You've got to be kidding me."
Oh, man. That's rich, considering all the scrutiny she faced over her own emails.
Right. Talk about irony. It's like she's pointing out the double standard here.
Makes you wonder if people are applying the same rules to everyone involved.
Now buckle up, because it gets even weirder. Jesse Waters from Fox News compared this whole situation to accidentally adding a family member to a raunchy bachelor party group chat.
What? Seriously? That's his analogy.
I know, right? It's like he's trying to make light of the whole thing.
Yeah, but discussing war plans is a little different from sharing embarrassing photos, right?
Just a tad. The White House Communications Director, Stephen Chung, went even further. He called the whole thing faux outrage and said it was just tired gameplay from enemies of America.
So they're basically painting anyone who's concerned about this as unpatriotic.
It seems that way. And Fox News in general has been downplaying the whole incident.
Not surprising. I guess they tend to support the Trump administration pretty strongly.
One of their hosts, Will Cain, even said he was proud of the officials involved.
Proud? For potentially compromising national security.
That's a pretty wild take, right? But here's the thing, even Fox News wasn't completely on board. The Independent mentioned that one of their chief political reporters reacted to Hegseth's denial of the reporting with an, "Oh, for God's sake."
So even they couldn't swallow that one.
Apparently not. Just goes to show that there's some nuance even within Fox News.
Definitely not a monolithic block.
Now, this whole mess ended up in front of the Senate Intelligence Committee.
Oh, that can't be good.
Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard and CIA Director John Ratcliffe were grilled by the senators.
What were the main points of contention?
Well, the committee vice chair, Mark Warner, he's a Democrat, by the way, called for the resignations of Waltz and Hegseth.
Wow, so they're taking this seriously.
He basically said that they failed Security Hygiene 101.
Ouch. That's gotta sting. Especially coming from someone on the Intelligence Committee.
But throughout the hearing, Gabbard kept saying that the information in the group chat wasn't actually classified.
Really? That seems like their main defense here.
It is. But the senators weren't buying it. They were pretty skeptical about how details of a strike on enemy targets could be unclassified.
Yeah, come on, that's pretty sensitive stuff.
Right. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Jeffrey Goldberg himself, the journalist who was accidentally added to the chat, He didn't even reveal all the specifics of the Yemen strike plans because he knew it was sensitive information.
Okay, so that directly contradicts what Gabbard is saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
It seems like they're trying to have it both ways, claiming it wasn't classified, but also acknowledging that it was sensitive.
It's a pretty flimsy argument.
So this whole episode really boils down to a debate about what constitutes classified information and what the consequences should be for mishandling it.
Even if it wasn't technically classified, discussing operational details in a non-secure environment is a huge lapse in judgment.
And it raises serious questions about the competence of the people involved.
Absolutely. This isn't just about following rules, it's about protecting national security.
Now, The Independent also mentioned a few other news items from around the same time. Just to give us a little context, there was a report about the Trump administration freezing federal family planning grants while they reviewed diversity initiatives.
Interesting. So this was happening alongside other controversial policy decisions?
Yeah, and a judge gave the ACLU a deadline to respond to a state secrets claim regarding deportation flights.
So there was a lot going on behind the scenes.
There was also a report about declining U.S. consumer confidence.
Okay, so a bit of economic news mixed in there as well.
It just shows that this Signal chat incident wasn't happening in a vacuum. It was part of a bigger picture.
Right, we always have to consider the broader context.
So to sum it all up, we've got a situation where high-ranking Trump administration officials were reportedly using an unsecured platform to discuss sensitive military information.
And it was accidentally leaked to a journalist, no less.
This has led to calls for resignations and a whole lot of debate about how the administration handles classified information.
And the reactions have been wildly different. Some people are brushing it off as no big deal, while others are calling it a major security breach.
Which leads us to our final thought for you to ponder. What does this whole incident tell us about the current state of information security within government? And how should we hold our leaders accountable when things like this happen? These are questions that we all need to be thinking about.
Absolutely. This is about more than just one group chat. It's about the integrity of our institutions and the people who run them.
Food for thought indeed.
Definitely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll be back soon with another fascinating look at the news. See you then.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.